Welcome to the Eat Better, Move Better, Live Better podcast presented by Flourish with Tracy, where we'll dive into the realms of holistic wellness, plant-based nutrition, yoga, and self-care to help you live your best life. Tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern for our special segments. Meditation Monday. Start your week with mindfulness. Wellness Wednesdays. Get the midweek boost you need. Silent Saturdays. Dedicate weekends to personal growth. Join us as we explore and discuss all things to eat better, move better, and live better. Welcome. Most of us understand the importance of caring for our physical environments. We clean our kitchens, organize our closets, make our beds, and remove things that no longer serve us. And we do this because we know that our surroundings affect how we feel. As a cluttered room can sometimes create stress, and a peaceful space can help us relax, focus, and feel more at ease. But what about the space that we live in every moment of every day? Our minds, our mental space. Just as we care for our homes by cleaning, organizing, and creating peaceful, supportive spaces, we can also cultivate a peaceful, supportive, healthy mental space. Unlike our homes, we cannot simply walk away from our minds if they become cluttered. We carry our thoughts, beliefs, worries, memories, emotions with us wherever we go. And many of us spend too much time organizing our external world rather than tending to our internal one. And over time, mental clutter can accumulate just as physical clutter does. Unfinished worries, negative self-talk, constant stimulation, and unresolved expectations or emotions all become endless demands of our everyday life. And we fill our mental space until we are overwhelmed or distracted or just disconnected and exhausted. So as we declutter one room at a time, one item at a time, we can also clear our mental space, the distractions, to establish a healthy boundary, to cultivate a self-awareness. That may sound like a big daunting task, but actually it just begins with small practices, small daily choices that can transform the quality of your inner mental peace. So before we begin, I'd like to invite you to ask yourself, what kind of environment currently exists within my mind? And more importantly, what kind of environment would I like to create or have if it doesn't quite yet exist? To begin, it's important to realize that we don't have to be perfect. A healthy mental space is not free of challenges. It's just a space that has enough clarity, flexibility, and resilience to navigate challenges without becoming consumed by them, of being able to recognize mental clutter. And it can show or manifest as unresolved worries, constant overstimulation, emotional baggage, unrealistic expectations, and negative self-talk. Your mental space can be filled with these things just as it is filled with thoughts, beliefs, emotion, attention, perceptions, and mental habits. And all of these things can exist in your room, in your mind. And if you think of your house, some of your rooms may feel calm and welcoming, while others may feel chaotic and crowded. The goal then is to realize which of these things do not serve you and to allow them to move from your mental space, to create room for mental rest, to create space and time to take a breath, to pause, and to respond to something instead of acting, to allow restoration when you feel overwhelmed. The same way we provide space for our physical bodies to take a break from physical noise, we need to provide space for our mental health and to take a break from mental noise. And we know it's not always easy. It's almost like a mental assault. We feel so crowded. We are overloaded with information and stimulation. We're getting emails, news alerts, notifications, advertisements, or responsibilities from our family and our work. It's always on. We are always presented with an opportunity to plug in and connect and to mentally process. We know it wasn't always this way. Our ancestors used their brains to focus on physical survival, processing thousands of pieces of information each day as opposed to billions, if not trillions or more data points that we are receiving now. And our brains evolved to focus on these things. And the result in our modern day life is fatigue, exhaustion, sometimes anxiety, or poor concentration. And that comes at a cost to our attention. And there are many companies now that profit from capturing our attention. Our attention, the cost of our attention has now become a commodity. It's always, look here, check this out, think about this, worry about that. And our attention then becomes fragmented and our mental space becomes crowded. One of the healthiest things we can do is to retake ownership of our own attention. Because wherever your attention goes, your energy will follow. So, first, in order to take back your attention, to redirect the flow of your energy, you first need to know the mental clutter warning signs. When your body is warning that your mental space needs attention, it begins as constant worry, where you repeatedly rehearse a story that may not have ever occurred or happened in the past, and you're creating problems that don't exist or have previously been solved. Another flag is rumination, where you're replaying these events repeatedly. Perhaps you're having difficulty focusing. You're jumping from one thought to the next, or you're feeling irritated or emotionally reactive. And then maybe you're just shutting down. You are exhausted, just tired of making choices, experiencing decision fatigue. And this can lead to physical changes where you're having difficulty sleeping because your body is physically tired, but your mind is still tick, 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 active. And then emotionally, you're just drained. You may wake up at a deficit, feeling completely mentally full, and your day has not even yet begun. So you can reflect and ask, what do you recognize in yourself mentally? Not as judgment, but just simply being aware. Where are you feeling fatigue or tired or drained mentally? And we like to use the phrase taking a mental health break. But do we know what that really means? A mental health break means setting mental boundaries to protect your mental space. And there's power when you understand what your mental boundaries are. And it's 4 simple decisions that you make. Deciding what you consume, what you believe, what you allow into your attention, and what deserves your energy. Because as I mentioned before, where your attention goes, your energy will follow or your energy will flow. Healthy mental space requires healthy mental boundaries. And this means you don't have to know everything, be everything, think about everything, or do everything. And that translates to you don't have to read every article that comes across your desk. You don't have to watch every news story or reel. You don't have to participate in every argument. You don't have to respond immediately to every message. And you don't have to be present and absorbed for everyone else. Sometimes protecting your peace is just protecting yourself. And that doesn't mean that you're selfish. It means you're taking care of yourself. And it's necessary. It's important. So before you consume something, ask yourself, is this helpful? Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it nourishing? And if it isn't, perhaps it's mental junk food. Let it go. Don't consume it. And then speak to the voice inside your head to be quiet. Just gently ask it to be quiet. Research suggests that we engage in thousands of thoughts each day. Many of them are unconscious, some are repetitive. The quality of those thoughts is what shapes our mental space. If you are constantly hearing someone say, or if you're saying to yourself, why bother trying? Or everyone's judging you, you're failing, you're not good enough. If someone were to say that to you, you would separate from that. But imagine if you're saying it to yourself. We tolerate self-talk where we would never tolerate someone external to us saying it. Recognize if you find yourself saying things like, oh, I have to be perfect. I have to get this done. When you realize you're saying these things, stop. You don't have to be perfect. You can learn and grow. You don't have to get this done. You can just take the time that you need to be human and still be worthy. When you take care of yourself and extend self-compassion to yourself, you create space. The space that you need physically, emotionally, and mentally. You then realize that you're no longer having a conversation with yourself using words, sentences, or phrases that you would never allow someone external to you to say. And this is part of your emotional housekeeping. What we don't realize is that our emotions can sometimes get trapped in our mental space. And it creates energy because emotions are energy in motion. And so we may suppress emotions, sadness, anger, disappointment, not process them. And they take up valuable mental space. When we talk about emotional hygiene, we talk about practices to help release and process unprocessed emotions, to allow them to free up the mental space, to provide cleansing and clarity. And we can do this through movement, breath work, therapy, meditation, spiritual practice, or journaling. Being creative. This cleansing provides mental space. That is taking care of your mental health. So what emotions are occupying your space? What emotions that all you need to do is just acknowledge them and release them? First step is mindfulness, just being aware. Know that peace is always found in being present, not in past stories or worrying about stories to come, just present. So if you take a slow breath and just acknowledge your current breath and release thoughts in your mind, knowing that there's nowhere else to be at this moment, nothing to solve, nothing to fix, just breathing in and out. This moment creates mental space. And the longer you do it, the more space you create. And it is in this space that mental recovery happens. The brain rests. Rest is maintenance. Rest is restoration and rejuvenation. Rest is recovery. With recovery, you restore memory, you reduce stress, you regulate emotions, you increase creativity. Just as you inhale and exhale, healthy mental space allows your brain to inhale and exhale. Healthy mental space is the culmination of all other types of rest. Physical rest, emotional rest, social rest. All of these help mental rest. Allow yourself to breathe. And as you take a break, realize that your mind is constantly absorbing information from the air that you're breathing to what you may be watching or listening to, or just simply figuring out the ingredients in the meal that you're eating. All of this are forms of consumption. And ask yourself, what am I consuming? Because anything that you consume is entering your mind and impacts your mental space. The question then becomes, is the consumption that your mind is processing nourishing, or is it depleting? We spoke earlier about the things that deplete our mental space. But now let's give a few examples of things that nourish and grow the mental space. Meditation, inspirational teachings, meaningful, heartfelt conversations, music, being creative, expressing gratitude, spending time in nature, and reading. Continue to nourish, grow, and allow your mental space to exhale. Yoga, in accordance to the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, is defined as the quieting of the fluctuations of the mind. The goal of yoga is not to eliminate thought. The goal is to reduce unnecessary turbulence or noise. So if you were to think about a body of water, when it's disturbed, you can't always see the surface. Yet when it's still, that body of water reflects very clearly. Your mind works the same way. When you quiet the fluctuations of your mind, you create a healthy mental space to allow yourself to see more clearly. So create a daily practice to set a healthy boundary for your mental space. When you first wake up in the morning, set an intention for your day, express gratitude, and perhaps just take 3 long breaths, and do all of this before you check your phone. In the middle of your day, just pause for 1 minute and just breathe in and out and empty your mind. Just simply say, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. And if any thoughts arise, just acknowledge it as a thought, but stick with I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. And at the end of the day, release it. And you can release through journaling or just reflecting. What went well today? What did I learn? And what am I letting go of? And don't carry it with you into the next day. Allow it to release from your mind. And then each week, spend time offline. Spend time just being silent, or spend time in nature. Small practices create profound transformation and shift over time. So I'd like you to just take a slow breath in and out and imagine a space that makes you feel comfortable, your sanctuary. See this space and feel it. It's your beautiful space. It could be a quiet room or garden. Perhaps it's by a water source. Notice how spacious this space feels. Notice that this space resides within you. Sometimes it can get busy. Sometimes it can be noisy, but it is always present. And with awareness, you can clear this space. You can always ask yourself, what is the one thing I can release today to expand the space? Breathing in and out, feeling the beauty of this space, the calm of this space, resting right around your shoulders. Take a final breath in and out. As you're fully awake and aware, remember that your mind is the home in which you live every moment of your life. Take care of it with the same devotion as you would any sacred space or physical environment. Thank you for embracing your healthy mental space. Thanks for tuning in. I hope today's insights help you on a personal journey towards a healthier, happier life. Don't forget to join every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern for more self-care and holistic wellness tips. Before you go, make sure to comment, click the bell, like, and subscribe buttons for upcoming episode notifications. Be sure to always consult a medical professional before making any major changes regarding your health, diet, or routine. In the meanwhile, stay motivated, Stay inspired, and remember, every step you take is one step closer to a better you. Until next time, keep flourishing, and as always, may all be well.